Welcome, everyone. My name's David Silberman. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Clinical Research Fastrack. And we're so excited to have our Fastrack to Success series where we interview our graduates, catch up with them, hear what they're doing. And really, this is about talking to really extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And our special guest today is Maggie Callahan. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, you are. Thank you.
Maggie, thank you for taking time out of your workday. I really appreciate it. It's great to have you. And let's just jump in. Where are you now? You're at work. What do you do?
Yeah, I work in ophthalmology research now. So I'm a clinical research coordinator. Oh man, I think I have about 20 studies right now that I regularly work on and 3 different sites. It's been really fun so far.
Okay, wow. That is fantastic. And it's great to see you again because I believe you were in our course back in 2023. Did you start in January 2023? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Okay, I want to take you back in time. We're going to go back in time. And before you entered into our program, what kind of background do you have? Let's start with your educational background. What's your educational background?
Yeah, I graduated from the University of Iowa with a Bachelor's of Arts in International Relations and Political Science in 2017. Then I moved to Arizona and I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do. So I did a little of this, a little of that. And a little of that ended up not really being as personally fulfilling as I wanted it to be. So one day I was talking to my landlord actually about what legacy I wanted to leave behind, what was important to me in a career. And he said, why don't you check out clinical research? So I thought about it for about 6 months. And he was a former instructor at Clinical Research Fast Track. So he sent me all the information about it, said, go check this out. I did. And here we are.
Wow. Okay. So you said you're a political science major?
Yeah.
That is so interesting. And then you talked to this in someone who knew our program. And what kind of work were you doing before you entered the program?
Yeah. Right before the program, I was working in the outdoors tourism industry. I had ended up not, I thought it would be a dream job, but ended up not really being a great fit for me. So I really knew I needed a change.
Okay, so you're working in outdoor tourism. You're someone who enjoys the outdoors, and you decide why clinical research?
The biggest thing for me was I needed to know that when I can look back on my career, that I did something really, really positive for the world, that everything that I do will outlive me, and that it would be still having a good work-life balance and just something really positive I could do. Plus, I love science and really wanted to be part of advancing the future of science. So it was a good combo. It was exactly what clinical research is.
Wow, so cool. Even with the political science, political has science in it.
Yeah.
You moved into the harder sciences. So you got this recommendation, and do you remember being in the class? I know it was a little while ago, but do you remember your time in the class?
Yeah, I remember really the biggest thing I remember was that the class did not feel like it was 10 hours during the 10-hour days. I'd start it, I'd go sit in my little office and do the class, and before I knew it, it was over at the end of the day. So the instructors made it really interesting, and the variety of instructors, I think, really helped with that.
Okay, it was interesting, engaging. And what kind of things did you learn in the class?
All the foundations that I would need to start as a clinical research coordinator. They did a great job covering things. I already knew how to consent people. I knew a ton of the acronyms. There's so many acronyms. I knew what to do, what not to do, especially what not to do in clinical research. So having that background of the foundations of research really helped me to accelerate quickly in my company. And I also had a really good idea of generally what my day-to-day was going to look like, which helped a lot.
Fantastic. Okay, so you had this training in the foundations of research. You finished up with the 8 days of training, and that was on Zoom, right? You were training on a
Yeah.
video conference platform on Zoom. You get out of class, and then did someone help you get the job? Can you talk about the career coaching part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I took about a month off just for me to hang out and have some time to kind of recoup myself after my last career. At that point, just reached out to Lauren and said, "What do I need to do?" She was so helpful as a career mentor. She's so positive, upbeat, and she started reaching out to other people as well. I I have a little bit of an advantage, I think, because I have a background as a recruiter. That was my first job coming here, and I was recruiting for people specifically in clinical research. So I did know generally how to phrase things in my resume, how to reach out to people, etc. That being said, Lauren took that to the next level, and I mean, she made my resume look like amazing. And like I said, she reached out with some connections. She reached out to now who is my manager at my current company and set up an interview for me. So she was really amazing.
Fantastic. And what is your current company? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, I work for Doc Trials. I will say my opinions are my own.
We always have to have those disclosures. Everything I say is not the representing of the company.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so and you were hired into what role at Doc Trials?
The clinical research assistant. And then in about 9 to 10 months, I think it was, I got the promotion into clinical research coordinator.
Wow, congratulations. Okay,
Thank you.
and for people who are listening, what do you do as a clinical research assistant? What's your day-to-day like?
It was actually pretty similar to a clinical research coordinator role for my company. It was more just that I was still in a little bit of training during that time. But my day to day, I come into the clinic. I usually try to get there relatively early in the morning. When I have a patient, I interact with the patient. I do whatever the protocol tells me to do with that patient. And then I do a lot of data entry and talk to the doctors pretty frequently. So it's really, as a coordinator, a super flexible career, which is great.
That's fantastic. Um, okay, are you ready? We are going to have a lightning round of questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here we go.
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment on the job?
Oh, man. You said lightning round. That's so difficult. Um, my favorite moment was the very first time that we could really see that a study we were doing was clearly changing somebody's life. And knowing like this is going to get approved. I think our data's good, the protocol was good, and this is a drug that is going to be absolutely life-changing for people, and that realization was just like mind-blowing. Like I helped make that happen.
Okay, so you worked on a life-changing drug, and is it approved now?
No, I can't say what it is.
You can't say what it is. It's still in process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. But you think it might get approved. Like it's being
I think so.
submitted. And
Mhm.
were you working on the phase 2 or phase 3?
Phase 3. My company did phase 2 before I got there.
Okay. That's exciting though, that you worked on something and it's actually really benefiting people. Fantastic. Okay, next question. Are you ready? Lightning
Yes.
question. What's your most surprising thing on the job?
Surprising. Uh, really how focused research is on patient care specifically. Um, I know that there can sometimes be this misconception that these people are guinea pigs or what have you, but research really does focus holistically on each individual patient. And that's why we have these committees to review, it's called the IRB, to review all this patient safety related things and communication with these patients. So I really, really love that research is specifically focused on finding what's best for people.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Okay. And what's the impact you want to make in
In within clinical research, I really want I want my patients to have a good enough experience that they want to come back for another trial.
beautiful. That's very specific. And you said earlier, well, why do you do this in general? What is so special about clinical research to you?
Being part of something greater than myself that's leaving such a positive impact behind.
Wow, I love that. And then people watching this video, they are wondering, should I get into this industry, or they're wondering, how do I get into this industry? What advice do you have for someone who is thinking about a career in clinical research?
I would say, you know, make sure that you have the mindset that no education and no experience is going to detract from your life. So every experience you've had, whether it's in STEM or in political science, actually can be very relevant, and you probably have a ton of transferable skills that you can bring into something like clinical research. So I would just write out what you want your career to generally look like, what you really care about, and if that is science and people and making the world a better place, then clinical research probably a good career for you.
Beautiful. And Maggie, you're someone, you had a political science background, you're working in the outdoors and outdoor tourism industry, and then you decide you want to do something more with your career and you pivot. Now you're a clinical researcher. Um, Really remarkable what you're doing. Incredible. You're working on life-changing treatments. Is there anything else you want to share with people watching this video?
I say if you're concerned about taking a risk, just do it. Like I said, no amount of education is going to detract from your life. It will always make your life better. So go ahead and just give it a try. The last thing I'd like to say is just a huge thank you to Clinical Research Fast Track for giving me the opportunity to change my life completely, and to Lauren specifically for really putting in the work to help me out.
Very sweet. That is so wonderful. And thank you again for being with us today. It is a pleasure.